Well, hey there. It's Monday and time for another Monday Mastery. I'm author and dating coach Rick Sodabeer. I'm here to help midlife singles, and that's generally 40 and above, navigate the realm of dating and relationships. And I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day. I always get Memorial Day and Labor Day mixed up. So I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day and a great week last week, and actually a great week the week before. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. But anyway, I hope you all are doing well and prepared for a good week, and hope you all have some good weather. There's been lots of tough weather through the Midwest and especially through the Oklahoma, Kansas, I think Arkansas and Missouri. Uh, lots of disruptions there. Lots of tornadoes and uh, lots of destruction of property. So hopefully this weather will settle down for you all a little bit, and you'll be able to enjoy more of your enjoy more of your summer. Hopefully, not cleaning up from storm mess. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to do today is it's kind of a random day, but I came across a video that was really poignant, and it actually touched me quite a bit because it brought back some situations with my ex. And what this video talked about, this woman talked about how uh, how women in general, or questions women in general, if they are emasculating the men in their lives, their husbands, the other men, in an effort to protect themselves. And the premise was that she said, I looked at my husband's success, and or if he got successful, if he went after his goals and dreams, then and got successful, that he would leave her. So she would do either subliminally or consciously whatever she could to keep him down. And that was an amazing observation to me, because my ex did that to me in a couple of different ways throughout our marriage, and it was it was really shocking. It's come to explain a couple of things to me, and about why she acted the way she did, apparently it was a fear of me leaving if I got successful enough. So the question I have for you all is that something that you all think about doing when you're with someone, or is that, for those of you that are divorced, think deeply about that, and think about how you interacted with your ex or your late husband, and see if that's something that you were doing subliminally, that you were afraid of him leaving if he improved himself, or if he got uh, more successful. And so that's my primary question for today. But I thought it was really insightful, and again, I saw it in my own life, because when I was a financial advisor many years ago, early on in my career, I had a really big week for me as far as sales were concerned, and my commission check was the biggest check I had ever seen at the time. And when I got my check, and it was a physical check, it wasn't direct deposited at the time. I was still old school. And when I when I pulled it out of the envelope and shared it with my wife at the time, she just looked at that and she said, "That sucks. It takes me 6 months to earn that much." And it was like, "Really? You just, this is our money. I looked at it as, what I was doing was for us, not for me. And I would guess that she felt that if I kept going along that way and earning like that, that she was afraid that I was going to leave. And it was sad because that just took the wind right out of my sails. It dragged me down, and it was not like I didn't want to produce anymore, but it was like, oh, she's not on my side. I have to, not only do I have to do my work every day, I have to fight against my wife um to to be supportive, because obviously she wasn't going to be supportive. So for those of you that have been through that or have had some experiences, guys, if excuse me, if you've had experiences like that, let me know. That would be, I'm curious to see if you've experienced any of the same thing. Then it's a then it becomes a battle, to if you want to achieve something or accomplish something, that not only do you have to put in all the work and all the effort to create a business or to create a life or to create a project, complete a project that will be beneficial to the family, but then you have, not only do you have the outside pressures of saying, no, you can't do that, no, you're not good enough, and sometimes even some of the internal pressures that say, uh, that you're telling yourself that, no, I'm not good enough, no, I'm not strong enough, I'm not smart enough to do this, or the fear of being an imposter, which says that, who gives you the right to teach us what to do, or who are you to tell people how to, in my case, who am I to tell people how to date and what they should do in their relationships? And then, for me, I do run into that from time to time. I do get down on myself, but it's also, I remember that all the people that I've helped along the way, because of the things that I do know. Do I have all of the answers for relationships and for dating? No. And what I've been learning over the last 6 or 8 months is that there are a lot of different categories. While I am catering to an older audience, I'm seeing a lot of things from young people and the under 40 group that that they're really screwed up. And what I have to keep focusing in on are the things that I know, the things that I do, and the ways that I can help those of you that are in that midlife singles group, the over 40 and been married or divorced at least 20 years and are looking to get back into a relationship. And ideally this time you're going to do it with your soulmate, and that's the whole purpose of me working with you or helping you or providing you information or guidance, is to help you not make mistakes that you've made in the past, just like I've made mistakes in the past. And the whole idea is that I don't want to make those anymore, and I don't want you to make those anymore. I want you to to be able to stay focused on what your dreams and goals are as far as a relationship is concerned, and help you accomplish that. Now, I'm not a matchmaker, so I can't go out and tell you where I can't bring people to you and say, here, there's somebody, I want you to meet so and so because they should be a good match for you. I don't do that. What I help you do is I help you figure out what it is you want in a relationship, and I help you do your own search. And a lot of people, especially, and it seems to go in cycles. And lately people have been asking me, well, Rick, where do you look? and I go back to the fundamentals, and it's always boils down to the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are knowing exactly what you want, knowing what your deal breakers are, knowing what you bring to the table. Those are the fundamentals. You have to be able to identify a healthy relationship. And that's difficult for most of us because so many of us have been brought up in dysfunctional households. I know I was. I came from a broken home. My parents were divorced by the time I think it was about 12. And from then on it was, it was problematic. And granted, my dad was an active dad, and he and I did a lot of stuff. I worked for him throughout the years. And so he was always there. He was always in the picture. And I'm more fortunate than many, I guess, that didn't have a father or may not have had a mother in the picture. And so we had some really strange family dynamics. And it wasn't until I was well into my into my late 30s, early 40s that I realized, yeah, I was raised in a fairly dysfunctional family. But then I looked at other families, and I said, oh man, it would be nice to be a part of that family. And I started to recognize, well, yeah, years later, yeah, they weren't all that functional as a family either. So it's something that we all have to take into perspective. And my point being is that we all grew up or most of us grew up in a dysfunctional household. So we have to learn how to recognize what a healthy relationship looks like, so that we don't carry some of our misunderstandings or the things we're imprinted with into new relationships and cause those relationships to fail. And that is a huge issue. If we don't take a look at what we've done in the past, the mistakes that we've made, if we don't look in the mirror and say, this is what I've done right and this is what I've done wrong, this is what I've contributed to my relationship, both good and bad. And for those of you that are just jumping on, the question of the day today is, if you were and this is more for the ladies, but men, you can answer this too. If your wife did this, or a woman in your life did this to you, uh, you ladies, have you been emasculating the men in your lives, your husbands, for fear that they might leave? Example is that you were afraid of them becoming successful and going after their goals. And if they did become successful and they did accomplish what they set out to do, that they would leave you once they got to be successful. And that's, for those of you out there that would like to answer, please drop a chat in the comments and let me know, and we can open up that discussion. Otherwise, it's it as I said at the very beginning, I recognize that. And the reason this question comes up is because I came across a video from a lady that confessed that that's what she was doing in her marriage. And it was an eye-opening event for me, because I recognized that my ex suffered from that to a certain extent. And I won't go back through the story for those of you that missed it in the first, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. But it was something that cut me to the quick. When she would undermine the things that I was trying to do, or when she would try to take control of the relationship, or do things that I guess would give her more power or more control in the relationship. And they appeared to be happening because she wanted to be supportive. But in at the end of the day, it turns out that she was undermining me. I don't want this to come across as a whiny coach day. That's not what this is all about at all. But it's an observation that I'm curious to see if any of you have experienced that, or may have inadvertently or subliminally done that with your spouses. Drop a note in the chat, and let's see if we can generate some conversation there. Now, that being said, again, healthy relationships all boil down to the basics. And again, good communication, being able to talk to each other and share each other's fears and concerns, desires, wants, needs, those types of things without fear of retribution. And ladies, this is another reason why guys have a bit of a challenge opening up, because uh in our past, it may not be you, but in our past, and I know my ex would do this. She would bring up something that I would say or had done and use it against me months or even years later. It was always amazing because she could go right down to the almost to the day and time and situation, who we were with and where we were and what we were doing. And I don't hold it against her. That's who she was. And I was not a perfect husband by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm learning. So and this all should be a learning process. Again, like I said, we should all be able to take a look in the mirror and see what we've contributed to our successes and to our failures. And we should be learning from those failures or from our mistakes. And I guess maybe mistakes are not failures. They're just mistakes. They're learning opportunities. And how many of you are using your mistakes as learning opportunities? Well, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm not going to date somebody like that again, or I would date somebody like that in a heartbeat. And what are some of the characteristics or traits that you want in a mate? Do you want somebody that's going to be supportive? Do you want somebody or do you want somebody that's going to be independent and not need you or depend on you? And I get into an argument with a lot of people over this mere differentiation between what's the difference between a strong woman and an independent woman. The strong woman is somebody who can do everything on her own, but would love some help, would love a man to be there and to be in her life, helping her and working with her. So you both have a common interest, common goals, and you both want to see the relationship work, as opposed to an independent, either man or woman. It doesn't make any difference, that they're totally free from wanting or needing or desiring anyone. They can do it all on their own. And if you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. And in a lot of situations, the independent people are much happier on their own, and should probably stay that way, because as an independent person, you tend to want to be in control of the situation. You tend to want to be uh, the the chief, and giving all the directions and guidance, and being the one depended on. I don't know if that makes sense. And if it does, great, chime in and let me know, and uh, we'll strike up a conversation here. If you happen to jump in the middle of a conversation, don't be ashamed to step up and say, "Hey, I missed this. Talk about this again," or "What was this about?" Because I'd be more than happy to go back over what I've already discussed and get you caught up. So anyway, and also, if you're out there, just drop a note in the chat to say where you're from, and maybe who you are, and again, if you have questions, pop them in the chat, and I'm more than happy to answer them on the spot, And even the tough ones, there may be some personal questions that I'll say, hey, let's talk about that afterwards, and or in a private conversation. But overall, I'm here to answer your questions and to help you move forward in the dating and relationship world, because there's can be a lot of confusion. There's a lot of information out there, and everybody's got their own take on it. And some of them are very positive, but a lot of them are very negative. And the more negativity you bring into your life, the harder it is to to navigate this world of dating, because you can get so down on dating. And one of the big comments I hear is, there's no good men left, or there's no good women. Well, if that's the truth, then why are there so many people getting married every year, every day? There are still great people out there. It's a matter of where to look. And that's a question I get asked often, is, where do you look? And it goes back to knowing what you want in a relationship. What are the key characteristics of the person you want in your life? And then you start taking a look, and you start working backwards. What are the things that you want? Then start thinking about, well, where am I going to find somebody that has these characteristics? What are the things they like to do? Where might they be associating? Are they going to be, do you want somebody that's sports minded? Are they going to be at sports events? Are they going to be at sports bars? Are they going to be at at softball games, or whatever it might be? Are they into dancing? Are they into, and more, it's the women that are into dancing. But guys, I tell you what, if you want to meet some good women, go to a dance class, or start taking dance lessons. That's a great way. And if you really want to impress a woman, come in, take some dance lessons, and then just ask a random woman to start dancing. And when she sees that you have rhythm and can dance and can guide her along the floor, that will be an impressive feather in your cap. But don't and then, ladies, where are the types of men? If you want somebody that's going to be active, check out a golf course. Go to the golf course on a Saturday morning and take some golf lessons. There are going to be plenty of guys around. And when you go out and do these things, don't go out with the intention of finding someone to date. Go out because you want to learn. Go out and be there because you want to be there, and be social and just meet people. The idea is that as you meet people, you will start to get connected in different circles. It's one of the problems that so many singles have, especially newer singles, is all of their friends are married. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for getting to meet new people. So it's important to step outside of your married circle of friends and start developing circles of single friends. It could be through a meetup group. It could be through golfing. It could be through um, checkers or chess. It could be through a painting class or a cooking class. There's any number of things that you can do to get out and meet people. There's singles groups all over mostly they're in the cities. There are some in small towns, and if there are none in the smaller communities, think about starting one on your own. You can join the meetup group and once you join meetup, you can create your own singles group and do the things that you'd like to do. Whether it's go out and have dinner, or whether it's reading, like a book club, or whatever it is that you like to do. There are great people to meet. A friend of mine's going on a missions trip next week. What a great way to. And it's not even her church that she's going with. She's going with a church from about 4 hours away. So she's creating opportunities not only to go out and do something for a community overseas, but she's getting to meet other people. She's getting to meet potentially some other singles, and even when if she meets couples, they have the ability to introduce her to uh, other singles in other circles, people that she may not necessarily associate with. So there are a lot of possibilities of where to find somebody, but you have to put in the effort. It's I have no magic wand to tell you where to look or um which rock to turn over or which there are just so many possibilities, and it's a matter of thinking outside the box. Maybe you like outdoor concerts. I know there are a lot of venues that you can actually have some decent conversation, if the venue is large enough that you can listen to some great music, meet some good people, it or take a guy friend or a girlfriend and uh, go set up, if it's outdoor music, if it's an outdoor venue, set up lawn chairs and listen to the music and make yourself available to talk to people. Don't just sit and talk to each other. If you're out with friends, make sure that you're introducing yourself to other people. Strike up a conversation with somebody. Ask, if you're again, if you're at a music venue, ask somebody to dance, even if nobody else is dancing. If you feel foolish, well, so what? It's not going to kill you. These are the things that you need to do to to your soulmate, to find your partner. You have to be proactive in your search. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but it doesn't have to be endless dates either. When you know what you're looking for, when you know what your deal breakers are, when those are all set in front of you and you know what you're looking for, you don't have to go on a date that you already know isn't going to turn out to be anything. But then on the flip side, sometimes those dates can be the most eye-opening. You might get to meet somebody that, no, they may not be the right person for you, but they may bring something extraordinary to the table, and that you can say, wow, I want that characteristic, or I want that trait in my next relationship. And sometimes it's a matter of looking at people and saying, no, I would never date that person in a million years. In fact, there's a psychologist by the name of Dr. Henry Cloud. He told his assistant, who was single at the time, to to go out and have 30 dates, 30 first dates in a month, one a day for a month. And he said, date people that you wouldn't normally date, that have character traits that, you wouldn't consider as being a good match for you. But what she found out is by the time she got to the 26th date, she found somebody that she really liked, and she stopped dating after that. And so she started dating the guy. And so I'm not saying you have to go out and have 26 dates in or 30 dates in a month, but the more active you are, the more likely you are to find your soulmate, or the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Having one date every 2 or 3 months, yeah, that's going to take you a while. And the frustrating part is, not only for you but for me, is that it takes effort, and you have to be able to you have to be willing to put in that effort to search out somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And you have to understand that it takes time, and it does take effort, and it's not going to be a matter of 4 or 5 or 6 dates, or very rarely is that going to happen. It's going to take 20, maybe 30 dates, but it doesn't have to be an endless merry-go-round. You're going to have some relationships in there that give you some fits and starts, but ultimately each date, each relationship becomes an experience. And when you find somebody that's worth pursuing, pursue that relationship and see where it goes. Don't just say, yeah, maybe. pursue it. And sometimes you got to give somebody a second chance, or maybe even a third chance. I don't know about third chances, but if you're feeling a little chemistry, and sometimes, on first dates, it's hard to feel chemistry. It's hard to feel a lot of anything, uh, other than, either excitement or dread of the first date. But it's something you have to do if you want to end up with your soulmate. This is not something that's for the weak of spirit. You've got to have some intestinal fortitude. You have to have some drive to do this. It's something that that you have to decide how important this is to you. It doesn't make any difference to me whether you find your soulmate or a relationship or not. Although I'd love for you to do that. Just to be able to tell your friends, I told you he was right. Anyway, the point is, you have to invest time. Invest time in yourself. Invest time becoming a better you. Because I guarantee you, what you'll find is, if you find somebody that you really connect with, they're going to make you want to be a better person every single day. I've had a couple of those relationships in my life. They didn't work out quite the way I'd hoped, but nonetheless, they instilled in me the idea that it's important for us to continue to grow day by day by day. And it doesn't make any difference whether where your growth is. And some of the things you can do are it doesn't mean you have to have book knowledge. You can go out and travel. You can go out and take walks in nature. You can learn about nature. You can learn about birds. You can learn about the planets, or the what we were very fortunate to see here not too long ago is the Northern Lights. We had an awesome show. And post some pictures, and then you get people responding. Another place to look, just squirrel moment here. Another place to look is on your social media pages. Who's following you? Who do you know? Who and most of these sites tell you whether they're single or not. And if they're single, if you have an interest, strike up a conversation with them. If they don't respond, it's okay. If it doesn't go anywhere, it's okay, but you made the effort. And you'd be surprised how many single people you may have in your circle of social media. You may not know them well, but it's another great place to look. Because you can look at their page and kind of get a feel for who they are as a person. You can get a feel for what they like and what they don't like. What are the things that they're posting? Look at their page. It's not the end of the world to reach out to someone and say, hey, I've we're friends on Facebook. Would you like to get to know each other a little better? You can probably phrase it a little better than that, and you might share some commonalities, that are some things that you have in common, and uh, and roll from there. And if it doesn't pan out, if they don't respond, because I've had that happen. I've reached out to Facebook friends and said, hey, we have some things in common. We do some similar work, but I got no response, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I hope that you are too, that you're not taking it as a personal rejection. You don't know whether they've seen the message or not, and if they saw the message and didn't care to respond, okay, well, you have your answer. And the same thing goes with online dating. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because you send somebody a message via through an online dating site, it doesn't mean they got the message. If they're not a subscribing member, they're not going to get the message. And they may have gotten off the site years ago, or months ago or some time ago and just never shut down their profile. And sometimes sites will, even though you say you're off the site, you're no longer a subscribing member, the some of the sites keep your profile up, number one, to show that there's they have members, but also to attract other people of the opposite sex. So that can be deceiving, that can be um that can be problematic, or frustrating, I should say, in that it's just not it doesn't seem productive. But as I was telling somebody the other day, it seems to go in batches, at least for me, or in cycles, that you can search and search and search. And I'm referring to online dating. You can search and search and search and search, and you can like some people, you can send them messages, and nothing, not a thing. And all of a sudden, there's a half a dozen people that you're interested in, and messages going back and forth, and it's like, holy crap, where did all these people come from? Well, they've been there. It's just a matter of connecting, and sometimes it's a matter of adjusting your preferences in the online dating sites. And just a couple of changes here or there will change the algorithm of who you see and where you see them. If they're local, or if they're 100 miles away or 500 miles away, depending on your situation and what your availability is. Some people are free to travel, and other people not so much. They want to stay within there's some profiles that I see that don't want to date outside of a 10-mile radius. Personally, I think that's very limiting, but it's everybody's preference is their own. So anyway, with that, I think I'll just wrap it up, since it's been kind of quiet today. Nobody said anything. People have been popping in and out of here, and let's roll with that. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a great week. I'll see you next Monday for Monday Mastery, and hopefully next Monday I'll have some exciting news for you that I can share with you. So you all have a great week. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, just shoot me a message, and we can schedule some time to talk. Love you guys. Have a good evening.